Hello YouTubers, we've made it outside of Caversham walking Yam this morning before we get onto the water. The water is really flat, so we want to get Yam, get some energy out and then get on the water as fast as we can before the inevitable happens when the wind picks up. Hopefully it's not too dark and you can still see what's going on, but now we're going to finish up the walk with Yam and then get on this flat water. Oh yeah. And we've made it into the Caversham crew room today to fuel up after the session, because remember, food is fuel. We've got some delicious Bircher muesli, no breaded egg toast today, but all fuel, some fuel, most fuel is fuel, because remember, food is fuel. So now it's time to fuel up and then go see Yam. Oh, yeah. Yam. Yam. What's it? Hello, Yam. Hello. And we've made it outside of Caversham once more to give Yam a little run around. We've got Mai over there, Stanhope's puppy, as well. So hopefully they get to play around. We're going to rig some boats too while we're out here. But, as you can tell from the title, I was talking about, or going to be talking about, who will be rowing in with pairs. And as you probably will be able to figure out from the last few days, this week of training so far in the pair, been rowing with Stanhope. So over the matrix that we did last week, or 2 weeks ago now, we both did well, so that we suited each other and meant that we are pairing together for the time being and going forward. So we have a bunch of testing going on sort of internally, PCs going on during the week that we can compare ourselves to each other. And then obviously with December trials coming up, we don't have the invite now, but if the aim is to perform against everybody at the club and see how we can get on, because a couple of people at Leander have been invited to trials, so it's quite good because then we can compare ourselves to them and then figure out how fast we need to be. But now it's time to rig some boats. And we've finished with the rigging of the boats over there. And Yam's been supervising. Now it's time to get on the water in the fours on the summer-ish weather. We've got the sun out, which is very strange, and the water, look how flat the water is. Absolutely beautiful, and another opportunity to more focus on a little bit of techers rather than focusing on trying to row well in a little bit of choppy water. And that's why we came here, to avoid some worse water to get on some good water. So let's get on the water.
No, Robson.
And we've made it outside of Caversham once more. The water has stayed pretty good today, so we're in the fore there, just mixing things up, because remember, variation is a key to motivation. But now, after any session, it's time to fuel up, because remember, food is fuel, and also get Yam and get him running around. Oh yeah!
Why is this so good?
Quite late, like 2 or 3 years.
Oh, okay.
So you'll go like... And we've made it outside of the club for another day after fueling up, because remember, food is fuel, and it is very, very important to fuel up post-session, both to recover from that session and to help recovery for the next day, which I've really been focusing on lately for recovery in general. I know I talk a lot about food and food being fuel, and it is a huge part of recovery, but also just making sure there's enough sleep as well. I'm going to be talking about probably this week about sleep and how important it is. Just like heart rate is very important for training, or at least making sure you're in the right zones is really good for training, very important for training. Recovery is hugely important, and it's not just for someone like me who's doing multiple training sessions a day. It's very important for everybody to make sure you're getting the best out of yourself, whether it's being switched on the drive home from work, or whether it's being switched on at work in general. It can really affect you, and that's from food, from sleep and everything like that. And that's why I want to get involved talking about. What kind of sparked that thought to make a video about it was the Game Changers documentary on Netflix, and actually tonight, I think, or maybe it's tomorrow night, a video that's going to be the opposite side of the Game Changers video. I'm not sure of the name of it, but I recommend going to see that and seeing that there's a Game Changers vegan side of things, and then there's this other documentary coming out. I'm not sure how good it is. I'm not sure how accurate that'll be, but it's good to always see both sides of the story, or both sides of the argument. But that's for another video for future Yam Squad. Today, like I said earlier, we have kind of chosen the pair partners for at least the next couple of months. And so myself and Stanhope are together. Like I said, we performed well together in the Matrix, and the coaches have decided to put him and I together. And it's very interesting having, so with Robson, with both of us, we are both very similar athletes. We're both very good, or we have good scores on the rowing machine, but then when it comes to the water performances, it's difficult for us to transfer over. And then we've both been partnered with people who aren't necessarily like that. They're more of, they have decent erg scores, but they have sort of that better water performance compared to their erg scores. So the idea is to use Robson's pair partner and my pair partner to get the best out of each other. So setting the boat up for me and Robson, and also letting us, by the boat being set up, getting the most out of ourselves and getting the most out of our erg scores, or at least that's how I'm kind of looking at it, making sure I'm getting the technique, how I want to get the technique, especially being in the stroke seat, but then also making sure that I'm applying my power in the right way in the proper technique, which over the past few weeks, with the help of the Yam Squad, the coaches here, and just going through in these pairs, it's really been interesting to see how I've felt my technique has been improving. And like I said, I'll be making a video about the technique improvements soon, a little bit of a pairs rowing technique update, because I am feeling like it's a little better, and I'll leave it up to you guys to decide if my feeling is right, or if I'm not feeling it getting better and I'm feeling something else. But that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I'll see you in tomorrow's episode on Thanksgiving. Oh yeah!